Good morning. Hopefully you guys are having a good week. Today's Thursday, which is essentially a Friday. So work hard today, get your work done, and then you can enjoy some free time this weekend. So today we're going to be talking about what perimeter is. Now, some of you are like, I already know this. And that's good. That's something that's really good because it's going to help you today. But for those of you who need just a quick reminder, perimeter is simply the distance around the outside of a rectangle. Okay, so if we wanted to find the distance around the outside, we need to know the unknown sides first. All right, so the side over here is going to be the same as the side on the left, which is 4 centimeters. And the side on the top is going to be the same length as the side on the bottom, which is 6 centimeters. So to find the perimeter, I simply add these up. 6 plus 6 plus 4 plus 4. 6 and 6 is 12. 4 and 4 is 8. So 12 plus 8 is 20. And that's 20 centimeters. That's going to be my perimeter. Okay? So simple enough. Well, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be finding perimeter, but instead of these numbers being 4 and 6, they're going to be fractions. So we are on page, let me look real quick, 290. Let's go ahead and try to find the perimeter of rectangle number 1. Okay, it says one side here is 3.5 feet, the other side is 2.5, and we have to figure out what the perimeter is. Okay, well, if I know that the top is 3.5, that means that the bottom has to be 3.5. If I know that the right is 3.5, or 2.5, the left has to be 2.5. So to find the perimeter, I simply add all those 4 numbers up. So 3 and 1/2, 3 and 1/2, 2 and 1/2, and 2 and 1/2. Perfect. So let's add these up. 1/2 plus 1/2 is 2 halves, plus another half is 3 halves, plus one more half is 4 halves. And then 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 2 is 8, plus 2 more is 10. So we get 10 and 4 halves. Now that is not the way we write these fractions, because you can't have a whole number with an improper fraction. So how many times does 2 go into 4? Okay, 2 goes into 4 twice. So this is really the same as 2 whole. So if we have 10 and 2 whole, 10 plus 2 is 12. So the perimeter of this rectangle would be 12 feet. All right, now what I want you to do is I want you to pause the video and try to find the perimeter for number 2. All right, let's see how you did. I know that since this is the right side is 3/4 inches, the left has to be 3/4. Since the top is 3 2/4, the bottom has to be 3 2/4. All right, let's see if we can find the perimeter. So we have 3 2/4 plus 3 2/4 plus 3/4 plus 3/4. All right, when I add those all up, 2/4, 4/4, 7/4, 10/4, and then 3 plus 3 is 6. So I have 6 and 10/4. Now, if you got that, you should have noticed that 10/4 I can't leave like that. All right, so when we're looking at this, how many times does 4 go into 10? So I'm trying to figure out what 10/4 is. So 4 goes into 10 twice, because that's 2 times 4 is 8. How many are you left over? Well, if you take 8 away from 10, you're left with 2. That's not tenths, that is fourths. So 2 2/4. So if we have 2 2/4, if this 10/4 equals 2 2/4, and we have 6 already, let's add that together. You should have gotten 8 2/4 inches. Okay, very good. Now, we have a couple problems that are going to be a little bit different. If you look at this one on number 3, it says that the perimeter altogether is 8/10 meters. We need to figure out what the width is. Okay, so it's saying we have the length as 3/10 meters. That means that the bottom is 3/10 meters, but we need to figure out what the width is. Okay, so if all together they equal 8/10, let's look at what that would look like. 3/10 plus 3/10 plus the width. But gotta remember, if there's a width on the right, there's gotta be a width on the left. So 3/10 plus 3/10 plus width equals the perimeter. And the perimeter is 8/10. All right, so let's put these together and see what we get. 3/10 and 3/10 gives you 6/10. Just put these together. Plus your width gives you 8/10. So if you think about it, we're saying what plus 6/10 gives you 8/10. And you might be able to see, okay, if I know that 6 is 2 less than 8, then I know that I just need 1/10 more on each one, so that the width would be 1/10, right? Because if you take the 6/10 away from the 8/10, that means you're asking what plus what is 2/10. And you know that that is 1/10. All right, so what is the width? We just want one of the widths, right? We just want one of them. So one of those widths is 1/10 meters. 1/10 meters. All right, why don't you pause the video and give this one a shot? This is number 4 on page 290. We're trying to find what the length is. All right, hopefully you had a good shot at this. Let's go ahead and look at the answer. So we know the answer, the perimeter, is 4 6/10. And so we need to figure out what the length is. So 1 1/10 is the width on the right, which means 1 1/10 is also going to be the width on the left. So 1 1/10 plus 1 1/10 plus your length gives you that perimeter of 4 6/10. All right, let's put these two together, 1 1/10 and 1 1/10. So if I add these together, I get 2 2/10. Okay, so 4 6/10 equals 2 2/10 plus the length. So what plus 2 2/10 plus 2 2/10 equals the 4 6/10. I'm gonna go ahead and write this on the next page. We need to see how much more we have to go to get that 4 6/10. So when you need to see how much more something is, that means we're going to subtract. So let's subtract 2 2/10 from here. So when I subtract this out, 6/10 minus 2/10 is 4/10, and 4 minus 2 is 2. So that means we got rid of this 2 2/10, and so that means 2 4/10 equals your length plus your length. So both lengths together is 2 4/10. So what would just one of them be? Well, it would be half of that. Half of 4/10 is 2/10, and half of 2 is 1. So we would get 1 2/10. It kind of looks like 2/16, but it is 2/10. Okay, so if we go back here, our answer would be 1 2/10. And one way to double check that would be to simply add those sides up. All right, if you get stuck at any point, you can watch this video again, or you can feel free to call or email me if you're stuck on any other problems. Good luck, and I hope you have a good day.